Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another Sacred Union Energy Update. Before we get started, I want to share a little bit about what I'm experiencing. And everybody's going to be experiencing a little bit differently. This eclipse energy was incredibly powerful. I think even more powerful than I even realized. And we're still in that eclipse energy. We're in the eclipse quarter. There's another eclipse coming up in November. What this eclipse energy was done is it was drawing everything to the surface that needs to be released. We're closing out a 6-month cycle and we're beginning a new one. That's what the eclipse energy really does. And so anything within that 6-month cycle that needs to be released, that needs to be cleared in order for us to step into the new and highest embodiment of ourselves and of our lives, that's what we're doing. So we're going to be experiencing it in a little bit of a different way. Some of my friends and soul sisters are experiencing a lot of residual anger that's coming up. A lot, and that anger comes from a number of different ways. It comes from a number of different wounds. So it's going to be experienced in a number of different ways as well. Others are going to be feeling very even, peaceful, very tempered, I guess you could say. And there's also some nostalgia energy that's coming up as well. For myself, I was feeling very peaceful and balanced and holding space for my loved ones. But this morning I sat down to breakfast and I began to experience this sense of tenderness and this raw kind of emotional energy. And I realized that I was thinking about my divine masculine. And I realized that it almost felt like I was going back to the beginning. I've had a lot of full circle moments the past couple of months, over this past summer specifically, wherein it feels like so many cycles, phases, or situations from my life were coming back around again to be revisited. I experienced this a lot in my physical world. Today I experienced it more energetically. Let me explain. So I realized this when I was on a trip to New York over the past summer. I was staying at an inn and I realized I was having a very similar experience to what I experienced when I was in France in 2008 during my first official spiritual awakening, or what I can acknowledge as my first official spiritual awakening. It felt very much like a full circle moment. And I talk a lot about that. I have a full sacred channeling about that over on my sister channel, Susan Dawn Ascension Connections. Make sure that you're subscribed over there if you're not already, because we go into more channelings and more in depth about the ascension journey, sacred unions, etc., from that higher perspective over there. But I talked about these full circle moments on that sacred channeling, and it's been continuing. Things coming back around to show us this full circle energy, to show us it's like the aurora borealis. That's what they're showing me in my mind's eye right now. They're aurora borealis. It's the beginning and the end, as one. And that's what this full circle moment really feels like. It feels like coming back around to show you how you have evolved, how you have changed, how you have expanded and grown within your ascension journey. It's been pretty remarkable, actually, when I think about it, to think about all the changes and how you're still you, but you're a higher, even dare I say it, better version of you. Because you're embodying your sacred self more. You're embodying your authenticity. You're embodying your integrity. You're embodying your truth. You're embodying your love. You're embodying now. And that's what this ascension journey is really all about. It's about your embodiment. It's about becoming the bridge between the spiritual and the human, between spiritual form and physical matter, between being a spiritual person and having a human experience, understanding that you're not just human, but that you are a soul. You are having a very spiritual essence about you, and you're bringing that down into your human experience. And it's not just about being spiritual, but it's about recognizing your own humanity as well. It's about being that bridge. That's what Ascension is all about. You rise in your spirituality. At the same time, you understand that you're experiencing all of that in your human experience. So, full circle moments. I want to bring you guys back to today. It's been my cat. I don't know if you guys can hear that little bell, but my cat is dragging his toy downstairs. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I want to bring this back to I just have to play with him a little bit. I want to bring this back to today and what I've been experiencing this morning. It really feels like this raw and tender energy, this very emotional energy, where I was brought back to the beginning of my connection with my counterpart. It's been a difficult past year or two, because, especially because my divine counterpart and I spent the majority of our connection together. We spent the majority of the past couple of years together, even living together for a little over a year. And then just over this past summer, essentially, we went into a no communication kind of separation, but still very much feeling that energy. I'm feeling his energy. I believe that he's feeling mine, still feeling that connection. So it's been a little bit confusing. As you guys know, I've shared that. I've shared my journey, what I've been feeling in recent updates and channelings and things like that, because that's just the way I channel. It's been confusing because I feel like he is a stranger, but at the same time, he's not. It's a very weird dichotomy. It's like it feels like I don't know who he is, but at the same time, I feel like I know him better than anything. And it's such a strange juxtaposition. I'm not quite sure how to reconcile the two. But what my spirit guides told me when I began to understand was that as we transform, the energy transforms too. And so I do know him. I know him on the soul level. I know him in the heart, but he's going through a transformation too. And so we have to allow for that. So where it feels like a stranger, it's an old energy. That's all it is. The old energy feels strange, and that's because I've shifted and changed and transformed and grown, and he's going through the same thing. So it's gonna feel different. The past feels like it's firmly in the past. When I look back, I feel like that belonged to a different lifetime. It feels like it belonged to a different person, even though that was my experience, even though that was my life, because of the growth and the expansion and the evolution that you experience within during your ascension. When you look back on the past, it will often feel very strange, very much like a stranger. And so that's what I've been experiencing here, where it feels like he's a stranger, but at the very same time, he's not at all. And I can feel that love, and I can feel that truth, and I can feel that energy. It's just perhaps the human side, the 3D side, the actions feel so strange and so foreign now. Anyway, so I'm brought back to the beginning. A lot of memories about when we first met and how we interacted each other over those first several months. And, just some beautiful, nostalgic, raw moments of when he was taking care of me when I was sick. When he decided to, forego going out with friends in order to bring me home and take care of me and spend the night taking care of me. How he, just so many things, just so many things. How he wanted me to meet his friends, how he wanted to introduce me to his daughter, how we spent so many beautiful moments together. In the beginning, just in the energy of friendship and love. And it felt like this pure acceptance of each other. How I was the first one that he called after a very difficult day. Part of me was saying, well, where had that gone? Because it almost felt like that had shifted over the course of our journey. But I also very much recognized that that had still been there. We had just gotten so stuck in the triggers and so stuck in the traumas of what we were experiencing that we couldn't see that. It's like we couldn't see each other anymore. And so it feels like this peace is entering back into the connection. We're still in perceived separation. I don't believe in separation. We're still in not communicating, but there's this sense of peace. And I've been feeling that sense of peace over the past several weeks, the past several months, where it doesn't feel like I'm lacking anything because I still feel his energy so strongly. And it feels like we're returning to the beginning in some way. Does not mean that the past does not get communicated. It doesn't mean that we ignore the past. But at the same time, it feels like there's this beginning that is building. And with that beginning that's building, there's this sense of nostalgia. It feels like the sense of recognition of each other, the truth of each other, without all the triggering and all the projection, all the trauma that we had experienced along this journey, both within ourselves and our connection, and outside with the experiences, circumstances, and situations that we had experienced individually and together. And it feels like we're just getting back to the core of things, back to the truth of things, which is a love. And consciously building forwards. Now, again, it's so confusing because it's like there's absolutely nothing happening in the 3D, but it feels like the energy of that. And I'm somebody who cannot ignore the energy. This is, I've, my whole life, this is not just this ascension journey, but my whole life, I've had to trust the energy, learned how to trust the energy, and it's brought a lot of magic into my life. And I feel like that's where this is now, trusting my intuition, having learned to trust my intuition, having learned to lead my life from that place. And it's always on my mind how crazy this journey would seem and sound to anybody who has stepped outside of it, to anybody who's looking in. But I've also really learned how to just kind of ignore that, because I can't do anything but trust the energy and trust my heart and let that lead me, because I'm always connecting directly to God and I'm always letting God guide me. And like I said, it has helped me lead me to some really beautiful, magical places in my life, to where I was needed to go, where I was meant to go, where I wanted to go. It has also led me to some miracles, even through difficult situations like illness. Trusting my intuition, trusting the energy of things, helped me physically save my own life and brought in people who would then support me and help me to further recover. So I have to trust what I'm feeling, even if it feels crazy. Even as I'm talking to it, my ego is kind of wanting to be like, "Are you sure, Susan? Are you sure?" Wanting to get the best of me, especially with this raw and tender energy that's coming through. Are you sure, Susan? Are you sure? Is this real? Maybe it is and maybe it isn't. But over the past several weeks, I've realized that I have completely surrendered to trust and faith. And faith is not blind faith. Faith is being able to trust and accept and balance out that trust and acceptance, to balance out what I'm seeing with what I'm feeling, and to just in that in-between space allow myself to surrender. It's brought me so much peace. It's brought me a sense of security, a sense of stability. And when I say peace, I just mean it feels like an energy of conscious balance, where I can observe emotion and not get caught up in it, where I can feel doubt and not let it take me over, where I can respect within myself every emotion and every thought that comes to pass, but I don't have to attach myself to it. It's a very new experience. It's a very new feeling. But it keeps reverting back to this place of centeredness and peace within my higher self, within my higher heart. I don't quite know how to explain what it is that I'm experiencing, or this brand new version of myself. I don't quite know how to explain it. This new level of peace that I've really been feeling into. But with that, it's not just calmness. It's a sense of just absolute faith that it's going to be okay. Wherever I'm led, whatever happens, it's going to be okay. It's guided by God. It's guided by the universe. But not only that, it's guided by my inner self as well. It's this complete merging of all energies all at once. I don't have the words for it. I will try to articulate it better going forward. This is the first time I'm actually really speaking it out loud. And this morning, these energies really activated that, or really made me aware of what it is that I've been feeling. It's being able to hold that space within myself. And what I'm hearing now is that union, that we've been in the process of coming into inner union. That is the inner union, being able to hold that space within yourself. That is the balance of the masculine and the feminine. So I wanted to check in on the divine masculine and the divine feminine and see what's going on with the energies with this in mind, because it really feels like we're building a new beginning, energetically at the very least. And again, that doesn't mean that when we are in communication with our counterparts that we don't have conversations about the past. That's what conscious conversation is about. It's not bringing it up to project or to trigger or to blame. That's what's in the past. It is to have a conscious conversation about this is what we experienced and how can we build going forward. It's about acknowledgement. It's about awareness. It's about taking self-responsibility and accountability and using that awareness to build further, to create more in a conscious connection, in a conscious way, to work through conflict in conscious ways or challenges in conscious ways. It's all about a higher consciousness, a higher way of being, a better way of being, communicating and expression. So I don't really know. This energy is very new. It literally just came in a couple of hours ago. I haven't had a lot of time to sit with it, but I did want to come in and kind of process through it and see what's going on. And if you guys are relating to it, this is very real time for me. You know, this is not me taking some time to sit with it and figure it out and then bring it forth the message. This is very raw, very real, very vulnerable. Right now, this is what I'm experiencing. A lot of love, a lot of tenderness, a lot of rawness. And I even had a moment where I'm like, well, why couldn't he be that person, you know, for the rest of our connection, for the rest of our relationship? What happened? And I realized it was just so much trauma was experienced. And we were just not in a place where we couldn't project that onto each other. We hadn't grown that much. I feel like we have grown light years. At least I've grown light years. I believe that he has as well, or is going through that transformation as well. It's been light years within the span of months, years. If you look back to where you were many years ago, many months ago, weeks ago, you can see how different you are. That's what Ascension is. Ascension is accelerated expansion, accelerated growth. That is the point of Ascension. Ascension is to grow, to expand, to evolve. And it's almost like they brought me back there to, like, back to the beginning, to say the beginning was the truth. The beginning that you felt with your counterpart, that was the truth. But you have to go through this experience of detachment and learning and growth and every other lesson that you learn to clear your own trauma and patterns and wounding in order to keep coming back to the truth, which is just simply love. Just simply love. And where that brings us in the actual physical 3D, I have no idea. But I also realize that I don't need that in the 3D to feel that within myself, to feel that energetically. And that's what has healed within myself. It is not needing anything in the 3D in order to bring myself back to that love. This is my full circle moment, right here, right now, recognizing that I don't need communication. I don't need relationship from him in the 3D to be able to have and hold that energy of love. And I'm feeling very emotional because this feels so much like unconditional love, where you just want that happiness for them. You want that success for them as much as you want that for yourself. And it's this beautiful balance of not sacrificing yourself. In the past, I would have been like, yes, I want him to be happy and loved and loving and successful and whatever it is that he wants for his life. But I would have sacrificed myself for that to happen. I'm not sacrificing myself anymore. That's what I've learned over these past several months. I'm not sacrificing myself anymore. I've integrated that. I've anchored that in. I am able to love myself so fully and say that I want that happiness for myself. I want that love for myself. And I also want that for him. And I also want that for the next person and the next person and the next person. This stranger and this stranger and this stranger. I want that for all, for everyone. I want that for everyone without sacrificing that desire for myself as well. It's a full circle moment of just coming back to the truth of love. All right, I'm going to possibly talk about that more later because I don't really know what that's about. What I'm going to do now is not do a regular Sacred Union energy update. I feel like just see where the energy is for this union, for this sacred union. See where the energy is. We have the temple path. We have the first chakra. And I'm guided to take them all. We have Victory, Goddess of the Moon, Angel of Love, Door to Romance showing itself at the bottom of the deck, but I'm not guided to take that. And we have the card Envy. All right. We have, for the first card, I feel like this is what we're talking about and channeling here, the Temple Path. This is your union. This is your ascension. You've gone within the spiral of yourself deeper and deeper, and now you are almost like you're ascending into this temple of yourself, having gone through the shadows. That's what this feels like, this Envy card, out of the shadows and into the light. I'm not seeing envy here. I'm seeing out of the shadows and into the light. Where you were kind of stuck in darkness, moving into the light. All it took was going through that doorway. That's what this feels like. Going through the inner spiral, going into the shadows, the underworld of your very self, to clear the trauma, to clear the wound, to bring about more stability, to end major cycles, to allow yourself to follow your intuition and to go into the deepest recesses of your heart and understand what pure unconditional love truly is, to find that balance and that stability within yourself. This is the crowning card here. This Temple Path is the crowning card of this entire spread. And they're not letting me get away with not acknowledging that this is a number one, this is kind of creating a circle, but it's a triangle, and this is the apex of it. And when we were first channeling many, many years ago, they gave me the Three of Pentacles as my union card, as union energy, because it was that Trinity energy. It was divine masculine, divine feminine, and God source as that union energy, all interconnected, all as one. And then they began to say, yes, that's kind of how it is. On the surface, that's what it looks like, but it's more blended, it's more merged. And so they gave me the Three of Cups, 2 cups pouring into the one. That's what that union energy is. That's what they're showing me now. This is the apex. This is your union. This is your ascension. You've gone through so much within a short period of time. Don't think of it linearly. Don't think of it in human construct. Think about it as the experience and evolution of the soul. When you think about your life experience here on this planet, it is a blip within the infinite grand scheme of things. A blip within the lifetimes that you have had on this planet and other planets that you have had as a soul since the birth of your very soul. And so what you've experienced might feel very heavy, might feel very time crunched, but it is also incredibly expansive. And you've come here at this time and place in this ascension journey for your soul's very expansion, for that very purpose. And not only for your individual soul's expansion, but as you expand individually and grow individually and ascend individually, what happens is it has a ripple effect on the greater collective, on the world around us, because the world, the planet, is going through an ascension as well. We might be seeing that as the world going through this collective underworld kind of energy, looking at the shadows. But you have to look at the shadows in order to reach the light, in order to see the light. And that's what's happening here. I did a channeling a couple of weeks ago about the spiritual ego. I forget what I called it. It was a soul saying that I have on my website and on my social media. I forget what I called it, but we talked about the spiritual ego, and what I was able to understand was this woke culture, quote unquote woke culture, where so many people are standing up and advocating. That's the first part of spiritual awakening. So when you're seeing that in culture, when you're seeing that in society, in the greater planetary experience, you understand that there is a massive shift that is happening. And yes, there's some back and forth, there's some lower vibrations in there as well, but that's part of spiritual awakening, because not everybody is on the same page yet. Not everybody is at the same part of the journey. Everybody's kind of climbing up the mountain at their own pace, right? But it's the same mountain of ascension. And that's what this feels like. It feels like you especially going through this ascension journey, you've really been leading the way. You are these light workers, you are these way showers. You have been going through this ascension not only for your own individual growth, but to kind of help clear the collective energy, transmute the collective energy for others. Not just others who are here on this planet now, but others who are coming in. It's all connect the dots. It's all building blocks. It's all creative energy. It's all one. It's all part of the puzzle. Everybody has a piece of the puzzle. Everybody has a role to play. It's really important to understand this. It's really important to see beyond the 3D structure of our human experience and understand things from a soul perspective, from a greater perspective, from the higher perspective, from the higher embodied perspective. And that's what Ascension really brings us. You can go through many spiritual awakenings, and then you're activated to Ascension, and Ascension brings you deeper into connection with yourself, deeper into connection with the universe, and deeper into that higher realm. And so having gone through the shadows of yourself, having gone into the inner spiral where you found that stability within yourself, not reaching for outside resources, allowing yourself to receive support, encouragement, validation, confirmation, etc., but not necessarily needing that outside of yourself, because you yourself are always connected to God. And so you yourself always have that power. You yourself always have that wisdom. You yourself always have that sacred connection. Not needing that from anything external, not any religion, not any guide, guru, healer. You have that within yourself. Any guide, guru, healer, any psychic, myself included, are only meant to show you yourself, are only showing you the reflection of yourself, helping to guide you back home to yourself. Anything else is just spiritual ego. Anything else is just illusion. We're only guiding you home to yourself, to recognize the sacredness within yourself. So you're finding that stability within yourself. You're anchoring that in. You're recognizing your authenticity. You're recognizing your truth. You're clearing out all the lifetimes and experiences and traumas and illusions that keep you in a state of separation. Separation from yourself, separation from God. Whatever it is that you want to call God. God, the universe, creator, source, whatever you want to call God. It's that energy. It's that life force energy. It's the connective tissue is what I'm hearing. The connective tissue within all of us. I call it the tapestry, or the threads within the tapestry of creation, but it's that connective tissue. That is that God source energy. And you're coming back home to trusting your intuition, to trusting in the universe, because you are part of the universe, and trusting in the love, coming out of the darkness and into the light. This sense of victory is not victory as in something tangible. It might show itself in its tangible world because we are having a physical experience, but it's the sense of oneness that you feel within, the sense of power and peace. Not power as in something to control. The word power has been so misconstrued, but it's self-empowerment. It's self-authenticity. It's self-integrity. It's recognition. It is connection. Connection to yourself and higher power, which enables you to connect so divinely to others around you in the energy of love. Again, recognizing that everybody plays a part. You don't have to like everybody. There are egos at play. We don't have to like everybody, but we can appreciate the role that everybody plays and have that love in our hearts, that compassion in our hearts. We don't have to set ourselves on fire and engage in connections that we don't want to engage in. But it doesn't mean that we don't hold love in our hearts for the higher souls. That's unity consciousness, is understanding that everybody plays a part. Everything has a piece of the puzzle. And maybe those connections that we don't like, those people that we really don't want to engage with or communicate with or have connections with, that's okay. That's all right. Like I said, you don't have to like everybody, but you still hold that sense of integrity. You still hold that sense of love. You're going through your ascension and you're meeting in that temple, because that temple is within yourself. That's what this union is all about. And you've been walking this path with your partner who was the greatest catalyst for your expansion and your growth, showing you more about yourself in a shorter period of time in the energy of love, even though it might have been incredibly painful, the undercurrent of love. Feeling the undercurrent of love. Showing you home to yourself. And that's where you meet. You meet on the bridge of the heart, in the heart space, within the temple of your very self. How this plays out in the physical right now, I don't know. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I don't know. I don't channel a whole lot of 3D stuff, as you know. I just had somebody comment on that, that I do tend to talk about higher level ascension. And she was grateful for that. And I was grateful for the comment, because I've tried bringing it all down to the 3D and I just can't. It's just not what I'm meant to be doing. But I think that's where we have to trust too. We'll see where this leads in upcoming Sacred Union Energy update. This feels very Ascension relationship-y. So we'll label it under that. And we'll bring it back down a little bit with the Divine Masculine, Divine Feminine Union Energy reading, feelings, thoughts, current energies, all that stuff that we do. But this felt strong. This felt very strong. And so I'm going to leave this up here just in case it's resonating with you. And if it's not resonating with you, just simply set it aside, and we'll be back with some more readings. The other readings that we do going forward. All right, guys, I am sending you all so much love and so much light. Thank you for being here. Thank you for honoring and holding space for this. And we'll see you soon. Bye.